Sorry. Thank you.
Good. Yeah,
Done.
love it. Okay, y'all. So priorities today for me. I'm gonna start my bread first. I'll be kind of doing several things after that. Once it's both fermenting, I'm gonna start my hard-boiled eggs. I'm gonna get my blanching station ready for green beans. I'm gonna start cooking my potatoes in water. Also gonna start rolling out and par baking my tart shell because it turns out better for the end product when I do that. Um, so I can get like 5 things going right away. But first things first is bread. Okay, bread, then the cooked items for the salad, um, and then par bake my pate brisée, and then I'll probably make my vinaigrette, and then start doing all my cut work for the salad. Kind of all of that in that order. Questions, comments, concerns?
It sounds good.
What if you don't have all the ingredients for the salad?
Ooh, you broke up a little bit. What'd you say?
I said, what if we have all the ingredients salad because I don't have any green beans or artichoke hearts or
Okay, if you don't have that stuff, then obviously you can't cook it. Maybe you could practice the blanching if you have any kind of green vegetable on hand, but if not, that's fine.
Okay.
I don't have any of the olives either. And I used all my flour yesterday. I mean, I've got bread flour. I can do the baguette. I don't think
Yeah, that'd be fun. Yeah,
Pate.
bread flour is great for baguette.
but the pate brisée, I used all the rest of my flour I had yesterday. I mean, I don't know if I can grab some
I guess you
extra
could use
school.
bread flour for that.
Yeah.
It may be a little tough, but it should work.
And chef, on that, I already made them like into a pan, like a pie pan that I had. Is that fine?
You already rolled them out?
Roll them out into a pie pan. Should I not do that?
Yeah, that's perfectly fine.
Okay, all right. I left one that I did, that was rolled out, but I didn't critique to a pie pan and cut and make the crimping. So that's what we're doing is do a pie pan.
Pie pan is fine, yeah, if that's what you have. Not everyone will have a tart pan, so yeah, whatever you got is perfectly fine.
Okay, I made 2 of them, so should that be sufficient?
I would think so, yeah. I think that's
Okay.
probably more than enough.
All right, thank you, chef. I'd much
Yeah, of
rather
course.
have more than not enough, so.
I concur. All right, more questions? All right, I'll probably be rolling with the punches a little bit too, for my hybrid peeps, because I got, the same stuff that y'all got. So I'll probably have to roll with some curveballs as well.
Hey, Chef, did Chef Cliff tell you about my situation?
No, and I was going to talk to him. Yeah, his father was in an area where there was could be potential COVID, so he is not going to be with you
Okay. Yeah.
for the rest of the week, I think, until tests come back. Is that correct, Robert?
Yeah, if my dad starts getting sick or anything, I'll let you guys know and we'll go from there.
But could you make sure that the storeroom knows that they can he might need to come get some stuff for.
I mean, I plan on going and getting my groceries at HEB or whatever. I'm just gonna go off the list.
Okay. All right, then that's cool. All right, thank you.
Robert, I hope your family stay safe and hope you
no worries,
your dad feels better.
Yeah, I hope so too, for sure.
Definitely. Better safe than sorry. You may want to kind of preemptively plan and reach out to, Chef Robin, Chef Raph, Stan, to say, hey, maybe next week I can get a stipend since you're going to be doing your groceries.
Okay.
Maybe send an email out and attach Chef and I to that to see if we can get that ball rolling.
Wait a minute, Robert, did you test positive for COVID?
No. It's just yesterday my dad had a meeting at work and somebody went and got a rapid test and got results that showed that he had COVID yesterday.
Oh, okay, I see. Just preemptively
coworkers. So.
Yes, preemptive.
All right, well, I'll be praying for you, Robert.
Oh, no worries, man.
Yeah,
Thanks.
for sure.
Yeah, good thoughts heading your way. Okay, well, let's have some fun today, y'all. It's a delicious
do
day,
it.
I'll tell you that much. So again, bread first, and then I'll par-bake my pate brisée. And while those two things are going, I'm gonna be cooking my egg, blanching any kind of green vegetable if I have it, cooking my taters, and maybe making my vinaigrette. So, you know, many things going on at once.
And Chef, quick question on the potatoes actually for yesterday and today. What are the ones that you would like us to use?
The new potatoes, the red potatoes.
Red potatoes.
Waxy potatoes.
Same for yesterday too?
I used starchy potatoes for yesterday.
Okay, so russet yesterday and today, like Yukon Gold will be fine?
Yukon Gold, great, yeah.
Yeah.
Also red potatoes, new potatoes, even purple potatoes would be good.
Okay.
Fingerlings.
Fingerlings would be fantastic, yeah.
What did you just say, Chef Cliff?
It's called fingerling potatoes.
Oh, fingerlings. Okay, all right. Thank you, Chef Cliff. Thank
Yeah.
you, Chef Scott.
Of course.
All right. let's
Great
do it.
question.
Let's have some fun.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
First things first, check some coffee. We did a fire drill this morning, Chef.
Yes, I know. Was it at 8:30 this morning?
9:30.
9:30. Nice.
And then 2 more tomorrow.
Yeah. Nice, nice.
Okay, I'm gonna start weighing my ingredients for my baguette. Remember, first step to the 12-step program is measure all ingredients. And then I'll do a straight dough method because I'm using instant yeast. If you have active dry yeast, you'll need to add on an additional step of blooming it in that warm water. You can see this baguette is a really hot oven. Also, the tart is not as hot. And so if you have 2 ovens, you may need to set 2 ovens. Otherwise, you're going to have to coordinate when that baguette goes in compared to when the tart goes in, because it's 2 different temperatures. And y'all, there was a good point made that a gentleman only had bread flour. Bread flour is what you want for breads. Don't use all-purpose flour for your breads. You won't get as good of a caramelization or the crumb structure that you're looking for. You won't get as big of holes in the middle. Just won't react the same. Also, for baguettes, it seems odd, but you need moisture. You need steam when it's cooking. That's what gives it that really crunchy crust. If y'all remember on that, Ratatouille, right? She's training him, and she says the sign of a good bread is when she picks it up and cracks it in her ear and it crunches.
Yeah.
That's what you're looking for on a baguette, and you get that with steam. I know that seems contradictory, but when it goes in the oven, you need a bunch of steam. So here's what I'm doing. My
you're
oven.
adding the spring then, Chef?
I'm sorry?
You're adding the spring then for the steam?
Spring, yeah, it'll help spring, but also create that crunchy crust. High heat will also create that spring. So my oven, I've got it at 475. Also, when I open this, I've got a pan here ready for some water. So that when I put my bread in here, I'm gonna pour some water in this pan and it starts steaming instantly. I've also got a squirt bottle that I've labeled
I'm back. I dropped a
water.
thing on my computer.
Okay, great. And so I'm gonna spray my baguette after I score it, right before it goes in the oven with water. And a lot of times, like in baker's ovens, they have kind of like these nice deck ovens that are like heavy stone material that the bread sits on. And they come over every couple of minutes and just throw a bunch of spritzer water inside to help that steam content inside the oven. But you gotta have steam. So I'm doing both of those things. I'm gonna throw some water on my hot pan in the oven when the bread goes in, and I'm gonna hit it with a little spray before it goes in.
Hey, Chef, real quick, where does cake flour fall in between the AP and the bread flour? Can you use the cake flour, just out of curiosity?
Not for baguette, no.
No.
Okay.
That has
Those
even
gluten
lower
in.
gluten content than all-purpose flour, and you want a high gluten content flour for breads.
Yeah, I was just curious about that. That's all.
Yeah, I'm glad you asked.
Was you like not paying attention in Chef Pablo's class? Because that's where we learned that.
No, no, no. I was just asking. And yes, I was awake for Chef Pablo's class.
Yeah, he's got a lot of information. Man, that guy is a cosmopolitan, I tell you what.
That guy knows his stuff, and he's always traveling.
He does. It was interesting because, I mean, you kind of had to translate most of the stuff he was telling you.
Yeah, but once you kind of figure it out, he's got so much information.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt. I learned a lot from him.
I taught with him restaurant operations a few blocks ago, and oh man, it was awesome. Just like working with him, just with all his knowledge and all of that, it was awesome.
I bet, Jeff.
Yeah.
I followed him for the Asian and Japanese.
Oh wow, yeah.
He knows his stuff.
Yeah, he and when he goes on his trips and all of that, he cooks with the people and all of that. It's awesome.
All right. I've got my ingredients measured. That's step one for my 12 step. Now, mix it, straight dough method. And just like my tomato bread yesterday, I really want to work this gluten before I bulk ferment it. Also, it's still kind of cold and dry out there, so I'm going to control my environment when I'm fermenting it and proofing it. So my oven has a pilot on, and I've got hot water in there too. High humidity, about 100 degrees. Really no more than 100 degrees is what you're looking for.
When you're saying 100 degrees what? As in just getting it to start steaming in the oven, or?
Now for bulk fermentation and proofing.
Oh, okay, now I understand. Okay, thank you.
Yep. had almost all this water that I've measured out. All right, just because depending on the humidity in the air, may not need all the water for that recipe. So I'm gonna mix it and see what it looks like first.
You drifted off. You said, depending on the humidity in the air, you may not need much of what?
All of that water.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll definitely need more water than that. I can tell already. And also, with that in mind, I may need a little extra water, depending on if it's a really low humidity day. It's starting to come together. I think I'll need more water, but I'm gonna touch it real quick just to see with my hands how dry it is. Yeah, I'll need more water. I'm gonna add all my water and go from there. Also add my salt content. It looks a little moist right now, but I think once it fully incorporates, it'll be a good moisture content. It needs to start catching it a little bit. Scrape it. Kind of put it up on that hook a little bit. Oh, there we go. There we go. That looks pretty good to me. It's pulling away from the side. It's not so moist that it's sticking to that bowl as it's mixing. I think I got the proper amount of liquid in there. Yeah, I think I'm good. So I'm going to start move on to par baking my pate today. Let that go for a good 5-8 minutes of mixing. I'm going to locate what pan my parts are going to go into as well. don't see a really good pan, so I'm gonna do two things. One, run to the restroom, and then two, go to a bake shop and see if I can find a pan. If I don't have a pan, then I'll see if I have like a single-use aluminum pie pan or something. But I'll be right back.
Heard that, Chef.
Probably another 3 minutes at least on my bread dough, and then I'll get it both fermenting. And I'm gonna roll out my pate brisée and start blind baking it. I'll clear my table. A little on my dough as well. Rolling it out, trying to get it nice and thin.
Hey,
Good.
Chef.
You know, 1/8 of an inch would be great. Yes.
Yeah,
I
what's
got-
up, Robert?
Does that look?
Yeah,
okay?
that looks good.
I know I need to let it rest for at least an hour before I roll
Yeah.
it out, though.
No, that looks great.
But I was busy.
Yeah, it looks good.
Thank you, Chef.
You're welcome.
Trying to get it nice and even. No less than 1/8 of an inch thick. You could probably do 3/8 of an inch. Get away with it. Got enough flour underneath. Make sure it's not sticking. Started to stick to my little rolling pin up here, so one more little dusting. Keep going. You can tell this side's getting nice and thin. A little bit thick still up here. Well, that's where I'm gonna roll now. Remember, I'm always rolling from the center outwards. Still not sticking that I know of. That's good. Okay. It's about the thinness I want now. And about an eighth of an inch, maybe 3/8 of an inch thick. That should be fine. Just one more kind of dusting like that. I'm going to do a couple of things here now. One, I have my pie pan. My dough's starting to look real good. Hit that with just a touch of spray. And I want y'all to see how I'm doing this. So to get it onto my pie pan, I'm not just going to try and scoop it up, right? I'm going to use my rolling pin. A little more dusting up here. So nothing's going to stick. Okay. And I'm going to start rolling it up with that rolling pin. Like this. I'm going to put my pan down. And so I'll kind of gently try. Oh, it's a pretty light pan. It's moving around on me. There we go. Nice and easy. Unroll it. And then I'll kind of lift the sides and get down into the corners of that pan. I don't just push down, because then I'll stretch it and break it. I'm lifting the side and gently kind of putting the pate brisée down into the corners of my pan that I'm using. Like that. I'm not pressing hard. I'm just getting it to where it's touching kind of the contours of my pie pan. And I didn't see any tart pans, which is basically a pan that has kind of wavy sides all the way around, usually a little smaller, although they do make them this size. And it has a false bottom that comes out, so it's easy to kind of get your tart out at the end. Okay. I bet I get to look nice, pretty smooth there. Nice and gluteny. That's what I'm going for. That's good. Bulk ferment it. In the oven it goes till it doubles in size. Okay. My pate brisée, pretty nice. I don't want like an abundance of flour in there, so kind of getting any excess out of there. And then to get a nice even edge around, I just take the side of a pastry knife or an offset spatula and kind of just scrape the sides away. Like that. I don't want to use a super sharp knife or anything, because it's, you know, you're kind of hitting the metal. Also, a super sharp knife is what I'm using. You know, this single-use thin aluminum pan may cut through it. A little side of a pastry knife is more than adequate. Nice and even. If I wanted to, I could probably go through and roll another one out. Maybe I'll think about that. Put that back into a ball.
Why not? You could do it.
Might as well, right?
Yeah. Utilize.
Yeah, I mean, if you got it, use it.
Total utilization.
I'm just kind of I'm not trying to melt that butter again. I'm just trying to kind of get it incorporated. Remember, I have flour on that layer. I don't want it to be kind of breaking apart when I roll it again. I'm just making sure that flour kind of gets incorporated to each little layer before I roll it again. I'm going to cool it down again before I try and roll it, just because of the temperature of the room, and now my hands are on it. Again, I'm not trying to melt that butter. Still want little chunks of butter in there. Put it into a patty, wrap it and cool it again. Okay. And the cooler it goes. All right, so I've got my nice little pan here. I may think about crimping the edges. Doing a fancy little design around the edge just for display purposes. Just kind of add that kind of aesthetic value to it, right? So I can charge a little more maybe.
That little crimp, that's a pain in the butt for some people.
Yeah, you know, it just takes a little time.
Well, you know, I've been thinking about it, Chef. Like, so when I worked at Stormy Point, we did our own homemade apple pies.
Yeah,
And a lot of the times, no one could figure out why some of them came out different than others. And or I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I make the dough the same way. We all make the dough the same way every time, right? But the difference was that sometimes we'd start making pies right off the bat because we were making pate brisée and wouldn't let it rest, would just start rolling it out. And so I think that's why they would turn out different sometimes.
what would the difference be?
It was like difference in coloring sometimes and the consistency of the dough as well.
Oh, okay. So I'm gonna pop this in the cooler also, make sure it's nice and cold before I would get it in the oven. So I've got beans here that I'm gonna use to blind bake. It even says it up here, baking beans. So they're not good for soaking or anything anymore. You can also use rice. Just anything to kind of hold that plastic down when it's in the oven. Or parchment, you could use a thin parchment. I'll clean up my area a little bit. Start thinking about my stuff for my salad. Maybe even start cooking my stuff for the tart also. Make sure I'm staying nice and clean the whole time. Clean kitchen is a safe kitchen. You'll hear me say that countless number of times, Bill. Yeah, so I'll probably start on my tart filling. That's my first things that I'm gonna cut. But even now, I can get some eggs boiling, see if I have any kind of green vegetables, and if I do, then I'll start some water for blanching as well. As I'm cutting things for my sauteed ingredients for the filling of the tart. You know, there's 1,000 ways to skin a cat, but the way I'm doing my eggs, I'm just starting them in cold water, putting them on a high heat. When they come to a simmer, I'm going to take that to medium heat and just simmer them for 10 minutes, exactly 10 minutes. I'll even set a timer, and then I'll crack them and put them in an ice bath. don't see any green beans, but I'll keep on looking around for something green here in a minute. But I've grabbed some stuff for my mushroom leek tart, as well as my red potatoes for the salad. Got some eyes on there, that's okay. Just take them right off. They're still fine. I think the recipe says to cook them whole and then cut them after they've cooled. I'm going to do it kind of backwards. I'm going to cut them first and then cook them. Because what if, some are bigger and smaller and medium, these are relatively the same size. So I think they'll cook fine if I put them in there like that. But just to really control it, especially if they're all different sizes, I can cut them to really, really like sizes a little bit easier. And they'll cook the same in the water. Always start potatoes in cold water. I also want these potatoes to be seasoned properly, not just on the outside, before I put them on the salad, but as they're cooking too. But if I put a bunch of water into that salt into that cold water, that salt's just going to fall to the bottom, and then when it actually gets hot and dissolves the water, only the bottom potatoes will be salty. Not only that, they'll be over salted because all the salt's at the bottom. And so I'm going to wait until this water gets almost to a simmer. Then I'll throw my salt content in and give it one stir and then let it go. Look at my leek recipe. Leeks are a little old, so when I cut them in half like this, I'm taking the outside layers off just to get to the nice good stuff in the middle.
Good morning, chefs. I'm sorry I'm so late. I sent out an email to y'all.
Yeah, I got it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Is it too late to show my uniform and my production
No.
sheet?
No,
Okay.
of course. Please do so.
Okay. Can you see that? Oh.
Oh, yeah. Yes, I can. Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're
It's never too late.
All right, I've washed in between each layer. I'm just gonna kind of slice them up nice and thin. Hey, my pate brisée is nice and cold. Lightly press a little plastic wrap into the corners. Got a couple layers of plastic wrap here. I don't want to crush my crimping, so I'm being delicate. And my baking beans.
What did you just say that was?
Baking beans, beans that have used just for blind baking.
All right, and then what are the red ones?
They're just dried beans, whatever beans. You know, like some people use beans, but they, you know, I know like Williams Sonoma sells these very expensive kind of things, but it's just something to weight down and to stay nice and warm, so where it kind of helps cook.
Okay. They're
Okay.
not meant for cooking, they're meant for a presentation.
Oh yeah, you don't need it for presentation.
Oh yeah. So this is gonna go into my, I've got it at about 325 degrees. So I get a very, very light GBD. I mean, very light. I'm not looking for any dark colors here.
350, great. I don't have any of that shit.
You don't have what do you need? Do you have rice?
I didn't know it was on mute. No, I don't have any of the that saran wrap.
Okay, do you have aluminum foil?
Yeah, we have that.
Okay, then just use aluminum foil, lay down aluminum foil down, right? Or what do you need saran wrap for? What was he saying?
Like to make it as an indention to it where it doesn't cook it or like saturate any of the dough.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I mean, only thing I would suggest is aluminum foil.
Okay. All right. Thank you, chef.
Yep.
Chef, won't the saran wrap melt at 350?
No, it really doesn't. It kind of it kind of shrink wraps as long as you you know, I mean, it'll kind of shrink wrap. It doesn't really. I mean, well, I don't honestly. I've never used home style plastic wrap before. You know, like I have commercial plastic wrap at home, like the big roll.
Oh, okay, so there is a difference with
Maybe I don't know. You know,
I think
I
foil.
yeah, you know, the foil would work just fine.
The home stuff should have like a warning.
Most of it works. I think the cheap stuff will melt though. Yeah, and just like, yeah, I mean, there's some, it will kind of shrink wrap it, because whenever I do anything in the oven, you know, for like moist cooking, I always put plastic wrap and then aluminum foil right on top of it. And it never really melts unless it gets directly onto the metal grate or something like that, then it would melt.
All right, now you've got me curious. I'm going to go ahead and read the box, and I'll let you know what I find out.
Yeah, of course, of course.
Once we get the beans in there, what are we putting it on? 350 for how long in the oven?
350 for you know, until kind of par cooked. It shouldn't be too, I think he said, I don't even know if he gave a time. When he comes back on, I'll let you know.
5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15?
I would say at least 10 to 15 minutes.
Okay, all right, thank you, chef.
At least, depending on how thick it is. Hey, and guys, I've got to let my dog out. She's like whining and carrying on. So I'll be right back, all right? Give me 1 second.
Okay, chef.
All right, have a good day, Jeff. I'm not sure what's going on, you know, my oven that I had set for my pate brisée is not heating up properly. So I'm cooling down my oven that I had for the baguette and waiting on that for now. Okay, my potato water is nice and hot. Put some salt in it. Give it one little stir. Make sure that salt is evenly incorporated. And I let it simmer until they're tender. My eggs have been going for about 6 minutes on the boil. Another 4 minutes, I'll put them in an ice bath. I'll set up right now. Mushrooms look pretty all right, but a little dirty. I'm just going to rinse them off real quick. Whenever I rinse these, like if I had a whole case that were dirty like that, I would fill up a sink, dump them in there, agitate them, let that stuff float to the bottom. But I wouldn't let these sit in the water any longer than I had to, because they'll soak up a lot of water if you do that, and then they won't react the same in the pan. Okay, my Eggs have boiled for 10 minutes. Getting off the hot water. Got my ice bath. I'm gonna crack each egg. Just hit them with a spoon every now and then. That goes in my ice box. Those cool down. A little mess here. Still a little ice water here, so try to clean up after myself every time I make a mess.
So Chef Cliff, yeah, it states on the box, do not use it in the oven, stovetop.
All right. Well, there you go.
Now, the stuff we get at the school is not the same as, the stuff you get at HCC. So parchment paper would work, aluminum foil would work. Anything so those beans aren't directly touching the pate egg.
Thanks, Chef.
Got it. Good thinking to look at that. All right. What I'm gonna do, just kind of cut them in half, and then slice them maybe an 1/8 inch thick. My mushrooms.
Chef, I have a question.
Yes. Yes. What's up?
Would jasmine rice work to hold down like the
Of
pie?
course.
Okay.
Yes. Any sort of rice, rice, beans, because the rice will hold the heat and it helps kind of cook it a little bit, but not overcook it,
Right.
right? And it holds it down from puffing up.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, of
Thank you,
course.
Chef.
Yeah, of course. And if you don't even have something like that, just get another disposable pie tin, put it on top of that, and then you can, if you have another disposable one, and you could weight it down with something, just
I did that.
anything like that.
Gotcha.
Yeah, of course. DA here? Yeah. Oh yeah, there you go.
Okay, so my red potatoes are looking just cooked. And I'm gonna check by just seeing if my knife goes in easily. Yeah, it sure does. Falls off, that's exactly what I want. And I'm not gonna put this in an ice bath, I'm just gonna drain it, put it on a sheet pan and cool it. So, y'all, I didn't have any kind of green vegetable. They didn't give me anything, but if you got the green beans, there's a couple things to keep in mind about properly blanching things. One, the water needs to be salty like the sea, right? Because that's what's flavoring the whole green bean. And you need to have a bunch of residual heat, meaning the bigger pot full of water, the better off you're going to be. You want so much salty water that when you drop your green beans in that water, it continues to boil. It doesn't drop that residual heat. Now you're waiting on it to come back up to a boil. My favorite chef, Thomas Keller, calls it big pot blanching because he uses basically a stock pot to bring water up and then does like little batches so that water just always is boiling. It doesn't ever stop boiling. And then I forget, there was like one recipe on the portal that says like, you know, cook the green beans in the water for 20 minutes or something like that. And that's insane, y'all.
Yeah. Don't ever do that.
Yeah, green beans, maybe a few minutes. Maybe. You still want it to have a good bite. You don't want to cook it so long that it's starting to turn brown. It needs to be nice and crisp. You know, still have somewhat of a crunch to it, but not raw. So, you know, check it after 3 minutes, sacrifice one, give it a bite. Is it so soft that it's falling apart? And that's too long. You want it just to the point of cook. Just like my potatoes, right? It was just cooked.
It's just my computer just died. I'm back. It took me about a minute and a half. I'm back.
No worries, man. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I'm. Seems like I have computer problems too, so no worries, man.
Nice and mint, nice and small. Yes. Somebody say chef?
Do what? I didn't hear. Did someone say something?
There's that. Okay. I've got a very, very light GBD around my crust here. And it's not really, really dark. It's just starting to get a color. Yeah, looks like I only have one oven now that works. So I've got it turned up to 375 for when my tart is ready. Who knows? Maybe I'll put it up to 475 for my bread first. We'll see what happens. We'll see, you know, what's coming along first. I would love for my bread to come out first, and then take it down and put my tart in. So I want my tart to be hot, and I need my bread to rest. All right, let me check on my stove. It's starting to double, but it still has little ways. Fastest dough today. All right. So I'll probably get going on my my mix for the tart here in a moment. But it says on the steps to, what does it say? So saute a couple of items, then season it, add herbs, cream, boil the cream until the mixture is thick, quote unquote. I'm not gonna boil the cream until the mixture is thick. I'm just gonna boil it a little bit because when I add my cheese, it's gonna thicken it up. Also, if I boil it and reduce it too much, then that fat content doesn't evaporate like the water, and so I'll have kind of this oily mess sitting on top of my tart when it comes out of the oven. So I'll show you what I'll do. Good, my Gruyere Parmesan. I've got my mushrooms, leeks, garlic all ready to go. Get my cheese ready as well. Any of these big chunks, and I'll just have a little chef's tasting here. That's good cheese.
Chef, what was that again? You're shredding right now?
This is the Gruyere cheese.
Okay, thank you.
A nice melty Swiss cheese, has an awesome flavor. So in this like pan, we're almost creating what's called a sauce mornay. Because it's a mornay is a derivative sauce with bechamel. And all you do is add a touch of cream to bechamel and some Gruyere cheese that's shredded, a touch of salt, and you've got mornay sauce. It's incredible. Also throwing a little Parmesan in there because I love Parmesan. Mix it up just a little bit, and I'll keep it in the cooler. So it's kind of warm in this kitchen till I need it. Gruyere and Parmesan mixed up. Delicious.
Was that on the very bottom of the pan? The Gruyere and Parmesan you put on the very bottom of the
I don't
No,
I
that
don't
was
think
just
so.
what I was using for storing. That's not the pan I'm going in. This would be the pan that I'm going in.
Okay, I see. Okay. It was just kind of holding pattern.
Yeah, it's just I didn't have like a paper plate or something.
Okay, all right, thank you.
That's what I do. I made a little mess on the floor here. I'm gonna sweep it up real quick. A little cheese, a little leek, a couple of mushroom slices, garlic, again. Clean as you go. All right, I'm gonna start sauteing my stuff for my leek filling. And it says heat butter in a large saute pan, add leeks, garlic, mushrooms, and saute until tender. And the butter says clarified butter. I don't have clarified butter, but I'm going to use another high smoke point oil, canola oil. As my pan is heating up, I'm going to multitask and crack my eggs, peel my eggs. Because I'm not cooking these eggs any further, I'm definitely going to use cloves. All the cut work I need for my salad. I'll be wearing gloves for it. sometimes these eggs will mess with you. They have a little membrane right under the shell that you got to get under. And newer eggs, like more fresh eggs, that membrane is kind of tough to get under. It sticks to the whites and the shell. You know, it holds those two together. The older an egg gets, the easier it is for you to shell a hard-boiled egg. When I start my saute for my filling, I'm going to go mushrooms first, really high heat. Because mushrooms can take high heat, long cooking really easy. You can braise some mushrooms for hours, and they'll still have a good kind of chew to them when they come out. So mushrooms first, then leeks, then garlic last, because garlic burns really, really fast. Then I'll add in a little bit of thyme, cream, let that reduce just a little bit, and then finish it with my cheeses, and let it cool down. I love me some hard-boiled eggs, so I did quite a bit of them.
Hey, Chef, quick question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's about what you're looking for?
Yeah. It looks. Hold on. Let me put on my glasses.
1 second.
That looks good.
All right.
It looks a little wet.
Okay.
Do you think it still looks a little wet, Chef?
Is the cheese in there?
A little bit, yes.
I think by the time that bakes.
Oh
it'll be
yeah.
good.
Yeah. That should be good.
Okay.
And remember, after it bakes, you'll want it to sit a little bit. Don't just take it right out and cut into it.
Right. Yeah. No, one of the things I've learned from school is always let everything rest that comes out of the oven.
Yeah, very good. Okay. I bet my saute station is about ready. And it's nice and hot. And on the fire in a minute. Bring my saute ingredients over. Olive oil. Oh yeah, it's already shimmering, so I know it's hot. Just a wisp of smoke coming off of it. That's exactly what I want. Then first, drop them in that oil. They'll soak up quite a bit of oil. Okay. Let it sit. I wanted to get a good caramelization. A little pepper in there. A little bit of salt. Especially when I add salt, I'm not going to do too much tossing to this, because if you do, you move it around too much, that heat drops too much, more water is going to come out of those mushrooms, and it's just going to kind of become a stew for a while. My baguette is starting to get big. Sure, I usually season everything here. That's it. Trying to get some color on them. Let it sit one more time, then I'll toss in my seed. After I'm done, I'm still feeling okay. What is multitasking? Done. Oh yeah. Good caramelization. Done. Complete. I'll season those a little bit too. They didn't give me any time, so I'll make do with a little oregano. I think that would be just fine in here. Taking the heat down. My leeks are already softening up. Take the heat down. This is when I would add the garlic. oregano sprig at the top.
Hey, Chef Scott.
I just want that garlic to toast a little bit.
What's up, man?
I want it to burn, but I want it
Yeah,
to burn.
Chef Cliff.
All right. Hold on. Let me let him finish real quick.
Okay.
Yeah, what's up?
My baguette, I've never made one this large. It's supposed to be that much dough, right?
Now that makes like two dough. That makes like two baguettes.
Okay, all right, that makes sense. All right, thank you.
Uh-huh.
I can smell my garlic cooking. I'm about ready to add my cream. I definitely want a little more cream than that. Again, I'm going to reduce this, but maybe only by 25% or so. Add a little more salt here, maybe some pepper. Stir again. Let it reduce just a little bit. I don't want it to reduce it until it's thick, and then add my cheese, and then I got this tasty blob. I want it to be somewhat fluid after I add the cheese. Kind of like a good risotto, like that kind of consistency.
Chef, I need to step away to use the restroom. I'll be right back.
That, chef. So my pate brisée is just cooked. Look, I can take it out and it holds the shape right there. That's what I want. Just cooked. My baguette though is starting to get big, but it's taking quite a while today. picking out my top on my leg.
Chef, what are you currently working on right now?
Sorry,
What are you currently working on right now?
I am making my mix. I just peeled my eggs. Got my potatoes cooling. My pate frisee is par cooked. So once I add cheese to this, I'm going to let it cool and then continue my cut work for my salad. Make the vinaigrette, things like that.
So that's going into the shell. Basically? That's going into the
You're
shell.
really soft. I'm not sure what's going on. It's hard to hear you.
The thing that you just cooked, is that going into the shell?
Yes.
Okay.
So this is my par cooked shell, and look, I can just take it right out. Right, but it's not like brown or anything. That's what I'm going for. And then so I've got my creamy saute mix. It's still a little loose, right? But now I'm going to add some cheese to it, and it'll thicken up. My cold cheese will also help cool it down because you want it cold before you add it to your pie dough or your pate frisee. Still a little thin. All right. So it's thicking up pretty nicely. Still think it needs a touch more cheese. I'll save this for like on top before it goes in the oven. I'm also going to do a little trick here, y'all. Because I didn't want to over reduce this and then have kind of an oily soup when it comes out of the oven. Whenever it cools down properly, I'm going to add 1 egg yolk to this. Just one. And I'll cook it through in the oven after this is cold.
That looks so good, Chef.
Oven, I don't know. I'm reboiling the water because my bread is not full fermenting as fast as I want. So I'm going to reboil some water, put it back in there, see if I can help speed it up. The thing about breads, y'all, you can't just hurry up a step or skip a step. You got to follow the 12 steps. Otherwise, you're not going to get the bread you want. So yes, this is taking a long time for it to full ferment. I'm not just going to say, okay, I can't wait anymore. That's not how bread works. It's going to try and control the environment a little Okay, I'm gonna start cutting things for my salad. Take a look at the recipe real quick, see what all I got.
Heard that?
So if y'all got fresh raw tuna, it says grilled and chilled. You can also sear it and chill it. However, people, it looks like we just got canned tuna. So I'm gonna start cutting romaine, bell peppers, olives, see if I have artichokes or green beans, which I definitely don't. Cucumbers, tomatoes, these types of things. Drop my veggies. On the romaine, I got romaine, and they say chicory on your ingredient list. And chicory is just a family of kind of crisp bitter greens. Endive, both kinds of endives are a chicory. Radicchio is a chicory. There's frisee. There's lots of different chicory plants. I'm just going through. I'm going towards kind of the middle, the crispier, lighter colored leaves. The outer leaves are usually a little bit dirty and soft, and the more green, the more bitter it is. So I'm just going through. You can see there's like a little bit of kind of brownish spot here, getting out of that. Also, there's a little bit of yellow there towards the heart. So I'm just going through and making sure all these are, nice, crisp, beautiful leaves. I don't want to serve any wilted lettuce ever. Okay, I'm just gonna go and kind of make them bite size. These larger pieces I'm gonna cut in half and then slice them. The other ones I could probably just go straight into slicing. Got some nicely clean cut romaine ready to serve. I'm going to keep this in the cooler because if it sits room temp now that I've cut it, or really even if I didn't cut it, it's going to start to wilt a little bit. I want to keep it nice and cold. I'm just going to go through and start cutting all my veggies that I don't have to cook the way I want. And y'all, you can cut your veggies any way your heart desires. The only kind of stipulations or caveat that I would say is you want them definitely under, bite size. You want to be able to fit multiple vegetables in your mouth. And they need to be even, right? You need, if you're choosing a certain cut, make that vegetable all the same cut. Don't mix it up. Oh, this is definitely, I'm doing kind of a matchstick thing here. They're even, and it's definitely going to be enough to get onto a fork and maybe have some lettuce or tomato on that fork as well. not gonna be so awkward that I'm like having to open my mouth up so big to try and fit something in there. Right? If I cut my bell pepper like that, I mean, is that bite size?
Nope.
Anyone?
Nope.
Not at all. That would be really, really awkward, right? But this, you can definitely have a mixture of vegetables while you're taking a bite. And same thing with my lettuce. I didn't cut it into big chunks like this. You know, I cut it small so that everything can mix together. All right, if you stick a fork in that salad, you get a little bit of all kinds of stuff in there. That's what a salad is. By the way, a salad is not just leafy greens with vegetables and a vinaigrette. A salad is anything that is a mixture of ingredients bound together with a dressing. That's what a salad is. That's why potato salad is a salad. Chicken salad is a salad. Egg salad. Tuna salad. Pasta salad.
Shrimp salad.
Meat
Shrimp
salad.
salad. Because it's a mixture of ingredients bound together with a dressing. Also, these are Kalamata olives, so technically this isn't an Niçoise salad. It would need to be Niçoise olives, which are olives that are endemic to Nice, France.
So wouldn't this be more of a Greek salad then with the Kalamata olives?
Yeah, you could argue that for sure. So remember, I said I want every vegetable evenly seasoned when I'm cleaning my salad up. Do I need to season my Kalamata olives? Anyone?
Sorry, Chef, I didn't catch that.
Well, I said that I want kind of every vegetable that I put on the salad to be seasoned, right? Right, so I'm not biting into something that's not seasoned. Do I need to season my Kalamata olives?
I'm going to say no to that one, Chef.
I was gonna say no as well.
I agree. If it's in a brine, it's got the flavor. I don't need to do much to it. Okay, y'all, I'm gonna move this aside because I want to show you something real quick. Okay, this is my mix. I know it's cool enough. It's not burning my hand. I mean, it's slightly warmer than room temperature, but that's our body temperature. That's okay. That's what I want. I'm gonna take one egg yolk. This is just a little trick that I found that really, really works well. Because it's going in the oven again, so I can do this, right? And even honestly, like pasta carbonara is barely cooked egg yolk. But got an egg yolk, drop it in, break it, mix it up. So it's not so hot that my egg yolk is curdling. It's just mixing evenly to that warm creaminess. Okay. It's not exactly there yet. Still a little warm to put in my blind baked pate brisée. I'm gonna continue to let it sit for a minute.
So Chef, why is it called blind bake?
You know, I don't know. I mean, honestly, like it's par cooked. You know what I mean? That's what savory people would say. I guess.
Because you can't see it. Because you can't, you're baking it and you're not being able to see it, right? You know, you're baking it and you're not able to see what is baking on the inside. That was blind baking.
Gotcha. Thanks, Chef.
Yeah.
I guess that makes sense, right? I guess I could still see the edges though, which is what I was looking at.
Yeah, no, but that's kind of the theory of where blind baking came from.
There's that. Learn something new every day, Chef. Remember, I'm not cooking these ingredients. I'm wearing gloves for everything on my salads. Those raw eggs, before I cooked them, I could use bare hands. The potatoes, before I cooked them, I could use bare hands. But now that they're cooked, cool. Nope.
Hey, chefs, I just cut my hand. I'll be back in like 10 minutes.
Oh God, are you all right?
No, I'm all right. I can deal with it. Don't worry about
Okay.
it. I just
All right. All right. No worries.
You need to go to the hospital?
Absolutely not. No, I'm just fine. It's just I need to stop the bleeding. I'll be fine. Don't worry about it.
How do I want to cut these tomatoes? Oh boy, it's time to sharpen my knife, y'all.
Uh-oh, chef.
About that time.
All right, I'm back. I'm ready to go. Don't worry about anything.
All right. Well, good. I'm glad you're all right. Okay. Now here's another thing. What is blind? Blight. I'm sorry. No, sorry. It's basically just talking about you're not able to see it, and that's kind of why it's called blind baking.
I mean, I suspect as much, but I just, I thought maybe there was something more to it.
No, unfortunately, it's not.
Hey, Chef Scott, can you explain what you're doing right now with those cucumbers?
I'm just getting the nice meatiness out of it and kind of not using the seed part.
Can you show me again with like a full one or a half one?
Yeah, so can y'all see that?
Yeah.
Okay. So I've just cut it into like thirds, a manageable size, right? Because in the end product, I want it to be bite-sized.
Mhm.
And I just cut around. I can see where the seeds are here. All right. I'm just going to cut just to the side of it. Turn it, cut it just to the side of the seeds. Turn it again, turn it again. All right. So this, I could use that for maybe a agua fresca or, something. But for the salad, I'm just using these nice pieces. I'll square them off a little bit and then do kind of like a bâtonnet. Something a little bite-sized.
So would you say that's the best method of batoning and also dicing?
You could dice, 100%. Yeah, the only thing that I really want you to think about as you're cutting your vegetables for the salad is they need to be bite-sized or smaller, and they need to be uniform.
Okay, I
Once you
understand. I'm
use the
saying
cut,
if we're
hold
asked
that
to
cut.
dice,
I'm sorry?
will this work? I'm saying in the future when we're asked to dice a cucumber, will this work much better than the other techniques? The ones that
Yeah,
I use.
honestly, like I could,
doesn't
if
work
I
as
wanted a
well.
small dice, I could do bâtonnet like this,
Yeah,
turn
the
it.
ones I use don't seem that simple, so that's why I was asking. Yeah, that looks perfect. Jeez. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, 100%.
Made a profound impact on today for me. All right, thank you.
Ooh, or use the seeds for like a cucumber granita or something. That'd be good.
Look at the size of this baguette after it's been proofed. This is a huge pan. Look at that. I've never had one that big. Am I supposed to make
Wow, that is a lot.
should I
That's
make
awesome.
4 out of that?
Oh dang,
Should I do 4?
that'll make a couple baguettes for sure.
Okay, all right. And wait, so what are we looking for? Like between like 8 ounces? Like to for the presentation.
Oh no, you can make them. You can just take that, cut it in half, and make 2 baguettes out of it, and then cut what you want for presentation.
Okay. All right. Thank you, chef.
And now that I've added that steaming water back to my oven, my bulk fermentation is going a little bit faster, but still not quite as fast as I want. Not gonna get there too fast. Okay, just like my lettuce, I'm gonna keep all my cut ingredients in the cooler. Grab my potatoes also, put them on.
On the recipe, it called for like 4 pounds of mushrooms. How many did you put in there?
Oh, for the chart?
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna step out for 1 second. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're fine, Chef. I probably only did half a pound, maybe a little over half a pound.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chef.
Y'all, I don't have a can opener in this kitchen, so I'm gonna run to another kitchen and open this can of tuna. Be right back. I'm gonna start some vinaigrette, red wine vinegar, excuse me. I'm crazy, I'm gonna put a little chili flake in there. Some herbs, dried thyme, dried oregano, salt and pepper. Just a touch of Dijon. Oh, we've got some extra leftover garlic here, so we paste some up. Garlic is also considered an emulsifier. Help bind my salad dressing. Nice and tasty though. That looks pretty good. I'm going to use all of it, just a little bit. All right, for an emulsification, I have everything but the fat in here. Create a base for my bowl so it's not moving around on me. I don't have egg yolk in here, there's no lecithin. So it's not going to be nearly as a permanent emulsion like a mayonnaise. It's going to be more of a temporary emulsion. So even before I'm going to toss my vegetables and greens, I'm going to give this a little whisk or a shake. I'll keep it in a mise en place cup and then shake it up right before I mix my ingredients. Usual ratio of vinaigrette is 3 to 1. 3 parts oil, 1 part vinegar. Me personally, I like acid, so I may make mine more like 2.5 to 1. That's just me. It's thicken up pretty nicely. I'm about there, I'd say. Give it a taste, see what I got. More salt and pepper. Even just a little bit of sugar would be good. Okay, that goes with all my mise en place for my salad. All right, so all my mise en place for the salad is ready. I just got to mix it, season it, plate it. I Baguette dough is starting to double in size pretty nicely now that I've helped control that environment. I'm gonna get my tart ready for the oven. Oh, I'm just gonna go like this. Being careful, trying not to get any of that stuff on the edges. Just in the middle of the pate brisée. I think I have a pretty good amount to where I think I'll fill this one pie up pretty nicely. Uh-oh. Pretty dang good. See if I can just clean that little piece off of that drip on there. There.
What is that you're putting on there?
Just the leftover Gruyere and Parmesan that I had.
Okay.
I don't really want to mound any cheese on top. I'm just kind of gently, a light layer on top, not too much.
Just to like let them know what's in it, basically.
Yeah, just so I kind of get a creamy topping or a cheesy topping, excuse me. Okay, that's ready to go in my oven. So I forget what the temp says on the portal, but I know this is kind of thick, like deep compared to a tart pan. So I may take the oven down a little bit and cook it a little longer to make sure those eggs cook all the way through. If I keep it at 375 or whatever it says, this crust may get super dark by the time the middle of my tart cooks. We'll take it down a little bit, maybe 325, and see how it looks in 10 minutes. It'll take longer than that to cook.
Sounds good, Chef.
But I know in 10 minutes I'll be able to judge, okay, is my crust getting too dark too fast? Because it'll probably take a good 25 minutes in the oven with that thickness. I'm going to do a little bit of an egg wash on the crust.
Just a side kind of question. I have egg wash, but if you're ever in a situation you don't have egg wash and you want to do this, what is the best alternative?
Maybe a little bit of butter would be good.
Like clarified butter or just regular?
Just melted butter if that's all you have.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Chef.
Yep. My pastry brush broke on me last week. I have to do this little rudimentary. evenly getting that whole crust. Not going crazy with it. I don't want too much on there and then it starts pulling off to the side.
Is that clarified butter you're doing?
No, it's egg wash.
Oh, egg wash. Okay. Did you put a little milk in it or no?
Just a touch of water. I
Okay.
didn't have any milk, but milk would be great.
Okay. All right. Thank you, chef.
Uh-huh.
You just don't want it to be all snotty like. You want it to go smooth.
So the size that Chef Scott is using, how much would you say that I would be in the moderate amount of contributing to milk to that? Like what is
I mean,
mid-
1 egg yolk and like maybe a tablespoon or 2 of water.
and what
sure.
about milk?
Sorry?
But what about when you incorporate milk? How much milk should you incorporate to?
You can
Egg.
treat milk just like water.
Okay. All right. Thank you, chef.
Yeah. Good question. Okay. Edges are nicely brushed. We go in the oven, 325, check it in 10 minutes, see where we're at. I'm gonna check my baguette. Okay, we are now doubled in size. Looks pretty nice.
Oh, wow. That looks great, chef.
Oh man, it smells great, Jeff. Oh, I love that smell of fermented bread. Golly, it smells so good. All right, so I'm gonna punch it. That punching action is gonna work the gluten a little bit. A little bit wet, that's okay. I'll throw a little bit of flour down. Gonna get it into the rough shape that I'm going for. Stretching it. And I'll let it bench rest just like that. This is called pre-forming and then bench rest.
Hey, chef, look at how much mine expanded.
Wow. That's big.
Say it again.
Well, as you were talking about today, the difference of humidity and temperature, it's a little different here in Oklahoma, but it
Yeah.
makes it quite large. So I'm happy to work with it.
Good. That's a good problem to have this. Put a little plastic on top so it doesn't get a crust on it. Oh, you know what? I'll spray it very, very slightly. It was starting to stick to that. Honestly, I like high hydration baguettes. I'm kind of excited about this one because, I mean, it's just hydrated or it has quite a bit of moisture to it, but just enough so that it'll do what I want. That's kind of on the edge, but I'm excited about it because I like those high hydration breads. Okay, I'm at a holding pattern now. So I'm going to start playing around with that second pate brisée. again, trying to get it to about 1/8 of an inch thick. All right, that looks pretty good to me. Test this area one more time. Gently roll it up.
That's your bag, yes, chef?
No,
Or is that
I'm
more-
just messing around some more with my leftover pate brisée.
Okay. I was like, I've never
Whoa.
seen a baguette like that.
And chefs, I'm sorry. May I
Yes.
be excused to I didn't have I ran out of bread flour and I would like to go to the
Yeah,
store.
go grab some bread flour.
All right, thank you so much. I'll come back once I'm back from the store. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
I just checked my quiche that's in the oven, or excuse me, my tart, and I can tell it's still pretty loose in there. So it needs a little bit longer, of course, for that egg to cook. I'm not getting much browning in there. So I feel comfortable with the oven. I even turned it up to maybe 340 or so. Also, that's a conventional oven. It's not a convection oven, which will react differently if I had a bunch of air blowing across it. Cleaning up my area, and then I'm gonna line bake this crust. Okay, so I'm looking at my bench rested dough. Probably been about 10 minutes. Touching it, it's not really springing back too much. Like I put my finger in there and that indentation doesn't go all the way back. I'm gonna go to my next step, which is forming improvement.
Hey, Chef Cliff.
Yes, man. What's up?
Think I'm about ready to go in the oven.
Oh yeah, that looks great. Yeah,
I'll be sure
man,
to-
that looks great.
Oh yeah.
You know, the only suggestion I would say is maybe just put a sheet pan underneath, or just kind of cook it on a sheet pan, just so where it, ooh,
if it does overflow.
so where if it overflows or anything, it's not gonna burn.
on
cool.
the oven.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chef.
Especially it's cream, especially with the cream.
So y'all, I've run into this problem before. I'll have a baguette lined up, and because of the convection, this corner flies up. I'm just gonna take a little dough and put it on the corner of every little piece, every little corner of my sheet pan. And really, really press my parchment paper into that dough so it has something to stick to. Hi, Chef.
We're here for any dirty dishes.
Oh, got these right here. I'll add this to it.
Can I give you a mushroom leek tart?
I've got an extra one. My mushroom leek tart I put in there. Check it out. So yeah, all that's good to go. Thank you, Mr. Virgil. A little deep. So I'm taking it low and slow in there. Or big is my cafe rosé, no big deal. Or blind steak.
It was long big, yeah?
Oh, it's ready to mix. Okay. Put a little flour on my hands. So I'm just gonna kind of take this, stretch it out. Look at that. That gluten isn't worked very much at all, so I know it's not gonna be springing up back on me. Yeah. Feels nice. I'm not doing much. All I'm doing is kind of pressing into the center here. I'm taking this fold, pushing it in the center. Now I'll tuck in the corners. I'll take this fold, push it back in the center, just like that first fold. Okay. Take off this excess flour. I don't think I'll need any more. It feels pretty good. Now I'm just going to kind of turn it to where that crease is on one side, kind of pointed away from me, because I'm going to use my palm to press it down all the way down. Okay, I'm using my palm. I don't know if you can see that, but using my palm to press that crease down. And I'm just kind of going through and pinching off any little areas that I don't want to open up, or maybe it wasn't quite creased enough. And then when I pick this up, I'm gonna place it on my ready sheet pan that has parchment on it. Seam side down, where the crease is, where I'm pinching, that will be down. Like directly on the parchment paper. I'm just making sure that crease is really, really sealed all the way across. No chance of it kind of opening up. All right, that looks pretty good. Let me point you back over to my half sheet pan, or no, full sheet pan. Just picking it up gently. Putting it crease side down. If it doesn't go perfectly, that's fine. I can just roll it over. Make sure that crease is down. Any kind of thicker pieces, I'm pinching and pushing towards the thinner pieces. Nice even baguette, so it proves even. Okay, now I'm putting it back in my proofing oven. I'll bring the water back up to the boil again. Oh, what? Get a little plastic on top. So that I don't get that skin on it. Again, I'm just gently resting it on. I'm not tightly wrapping it whatsoever. Honestly, it's just kind of falling down on it. And I'll maybe just kind of gently make sure it's kind of encompassing my bread. That's it. Let it double in size one more time. Clean up my area. priority.
Hey, chef. So we're doing chicken piccata, gnocchi, brown butter and sage, and panna cotta tomorrow, and make focaccia. Is that correct?
Yeah, we're starting the
Sponge.
the sponge for the focaccia.
Heard. Okay. And panna cotta is going to be made and chilled by tomorrow. And the gnocchi, or the brown butter and sage, is that for the gnocchi?
Yes. Yeah, so
And
really
then chicken
you know,
piccata.
sending 2 dishes, the piccata and the gnocchi with brown butter sage. And then the
Right.
others we're saving overnight.
Heard. Cool. All right. Sorry to interrupt you.
Oh, you're fine, Phil. Interrupt away. Let me get some water real quick.
Heard that, chef.
I'm just kind of cleaning it up, y'all. Cleaning and organizing. I'm waiting for my piece to come out of the oven. Waiting for my baguette to double in size before I spray it with water and put it in a very hot oven. My salad just needs to be mixed.
Hey, Chef, are you going to pound out that chicken breast?
Yeah.
Okay.
For sure. Oh yeah, my tart is looking pretty all right, y'all. Kind of excited.
Mine's getting there.
I can't wait to see it.
I'm giving it like another 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah, probably me
Heard,
too.
heard that?
Yeah, I'll probably just like show y'all as things come out of the oven before I head over to the next class.
Heard that, Chef.
Baguette's starting to get bigger. Probably another 15 minutes before I put it in a super hot oven. Hi, Chef.
Hi, we're back. Let's clean this. Ooh, smart fixing.
Today's date. Just
Third?
Huh?
Yeah, the second. December. December 2nd.
$30.
133. Read them? Who's coming in? No one knows.
Somebody supposed to come in. I thought
Nobody knows. All right, have a good day, Herschel. my baguette is probably going to come out of the proofer about 5 minutes, no more. And I'll score it and put it in a 475, honestly 500 degrees. What I'm going to do with the baguette is, again, put water in that pan at the bottom of my oven so I get instant steam. I'm also going to spray my baguette after I score it with this. I'll put it in a 500-degree oven for 8 minutes, and then I'll rotate it 180 degrees, maybe take it down to 450, 425 to finish it off for the last 6 minutes, maybe 7 minutes.
Hey, Chef.
Yeah, what's up?
I gotta go check on my dad. I'll be back in like 5 minutes. Is that all right?
Heard that. Yeah, no problem. Go take care of what you need to take care of.
All right, I'll be right back.
No worries.
There you go. Got my baguette. It is fruit. Turn my oven to 500 degrees.
Did he say 500 degrees?
I did.
Okay.
I'll score it. A big score. I mean, a hard bias on this score. And I'm going to start in the middle. Slightly. Go across. And then I'll do 2 on either side. So I'm going to hit it Water. I'm also going to have water to go into my pan in the oven. All right. Got my baguette ready to go in the oven. It's been sprayed with water. Got my pan. 500 degrees in there. And I'm going to go for 8 minutes.
Chef Cliff.
Sorry, yes, yes.
My dad needs some help right now. I'm gonna be
Okay.
able to finish this. I have one last thing.
All right, go
Is it
take
all
care
right
of
if
your.
I go and help.
Yep, go take care of what you need to take care of.
All right, it'll be submitted tonight, I promise.
Heard that. All right, I'll see you tomorrow.
Okay, so I temped my part.
Thank you, Chef.
It went over 150, so I know my egg yolks are cooked. Look at that. After that.
Very nice.
Mine isn't quite as pretty, but
Yeah, it looks gorgeous. Again, I'm letting this sit. I just wanted to show you what it looks like. It still has a little jiggle to it, but I temped it and I know my egg yolks are cooked because it went over 150. So I'm good to go. Once it sets, it'll kind of settle and congeal a little bit and really hold together when I slice into it. So my baguette went in the oven at 143. So at 151, I'm gonna take it out, rotate it, and do another 6, maybe 8 minutes. You can also see that I've got a drying pan set up, right? A sheet pan with a rack on it. Because that baguette, to keep the crispiness, I need airflow all the way around it when it's cooling to room temperature. If I just keep it flat on my sheet pan, it's going to kind of steam into itself a little bit. You'll lose that crispiness. It'll get more chewy than anything.
Will you repeat that real quick? Sorry.
Oh, you're fine. So I have a kind of a drying rack here. Yes, my pate brisée is on here, as well as my tart. But my bread is going to go on here too, and it's really, really important for that bread to be on a rack because I want airflow all the way around that baguette.
Okay.
Okay, if I let it sit just straight on the sheet pan that it was cooked on, it'll kind of steam itself, especially on the bottom, and become a little more chewy than crunchy.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Also with baguettes, you don't want to be opening and closing this oven. Okay, you gotta keep that oven closed. You open and close it, you're not going to get the rise that you're looking for. My little trick of putting a little dough on each corner of the parchment paper didn't really work. My parchment paper is kind of flying everywhere, but I'm not going to open that door for the first 8 minutes. I'm keeping it closed. I want that rise. Like a pat a shoe. Got it? You can't be opening and closing the oven. I've got another minute and a half, and then I'm going to rotate that baguette bread 180 degrees. Okay, it's been about 8 minutes. I don't know if this oven is temping correctly at all. Not doing what I wanted to do, that's for sure. That. I'm just gonna let that get brown and plate up my salad. Take up my vinaigrette. My greens are evenly coated. My tomatoes. I'll season these. Salt. Pepper. Egg. Salt, little pepper. Freaking canned tuna. Hopefully y'all got some nice tuna to sear and slice. Check my baguette real quick. Almost there. Say 2 minutes. I bet by the time I'm done plating this. Nice. Got seasoning everything. Vinaigrette, little salt and pepper. Every little bite needs to be seasoned.
I'm back.
All right. Good.
Yeah, sorry I'm out of uniform. I just like had changed in, and I just got back from the store. It's
No
a storm
problem.
out. It's raining.
Oh, is it? Oh, no problem.
But Chef, I have my my baguette right here. If you want to see,
They
It's a
look
little-
good.
yeah, it's a little flat, like,
Yeah.
but it looks pretty. For my eyes, I think I did pretty good from the other.
Yeah. I think you did really well.
Baguette is out. I'm letting it rest. Remember, it goes on my cooling rack. All right, so got my tuna salad niçoise. I threw in those roasted bell peppers that I had left over from yesterday. All my accoutrement, every single thing is seasoned and tossed in that vinaigrette. And over here, got my baguette, my tart. It's starting to cool down and starting to solidify, not nearly as jiggly anymore. I've got an extra pâté brisée here. Look at that. To the bottom of that pâté brisée.
Wow, that looks great, man.
All right, y'all. I gotta go on to my next class.
All right, Chef, you have a great day, man.
Have a good one, Chef.
Be safe.
Chef, take care.
Hasta luego.
Hasta luego.
Hey, Chef,
Yep. Oh, yes, sir.
there's my salad.
Oh, nice. Great job.
Yep. I didn't have any bell pepper or green beans or anything, but did everything else.
Roll with punches, I guess, huh?
It's all good, man. You did great. It looks awesome.
All right, I'm logging out, y'all. Have a good day. See you tomorrow.
Hey, you as well, man. Bye.
Bye-bye.